At 68, Ellen sat alone on the porch swing, her hands folded in her lap, the evening light casting soft gold on her thinning gray hair. The scent of lilacs drifted through the air, mingling with the quiet creak of the swing's chains. She looked out over the hills where her children once played and whispered, not to anyone in particular, "If I could go back, I'm not sure I'd say yes again." But what she really meant was something even more painful. "I've given so much of myself, I'm not sure what's left of me." This video isn't about blame. It's about a quiet truth that many women carry like a weight behind their smile, not bitterness, not regret over love itself, but the ache of a life spent pouring into others without ever being poured into. A truth no one teaches young brides, but many older women come to understand alone in silence. This is Ellen's story. But if you've ever stared into your own reflection and wondered where you went, and then this story might be yours too. Why older women secretly regret marriage. 1. The woman she used to be. Before she was anyone's wife, Ellen was a dreamer. She filled journals with stories as a girl, tales of wild places, distant cultures, lives she imagined she might one day live. She spoke softly, but her dreams were loud. To teach literature in a sunlit classroom in Italy. To live by the sea where her words could find their way onto a page. But the world she grew up in whispered a different script. Be dependable. Be selfless. Be a good wife. So she did. She folded those dreams away like a love letter she never sent. She traded late-night writing sessions for midnight feedings. She swapped foreign adventures for routine. Not out of resentment, not even out of pressure, but out of love, and the quiet belief that this was what she was supposed to do. Marriage didn't take her identity all at once. It was gentle, incremental, like waves smoothing a jagged rock over time. Each compromise, each moment of putting someone else first, each silence, left her a little further from the woman she once imagined becoming. And yet, Ellen never called it regret. Not then. Not out loud. Because how could she mourn a self she wasn't supposed to miss? But Ellen's deepest regret wasn't the life she gave up. It was something even more personal. Something that lived beneath the roles, beneath the routines, and awaiting to be seen. 2. Invisible in plain sight. It wasn't that her husband stopped loving her, it's that he stopped seeing her. At first it was subtle. The way his eyes skimmed past her at dinner. How good morning became just a nod, how he asked, "What's for dinner?" More often than, "How are you really doing?" After decades together, the language of their love had shrunk. Once filled with flirtation, long walks, and quiet touches. Now it was bills, groceries, grandkids' schedules, and silence. Ellen wasn't angry. She understood life gets full, but she couldn't ignore the ache of being needed but no longer noticed. She still wore the earrings he gave her on their 20th anniversary. He didn't mention them. She still asked about his day. He answered fine and turned back to his phone. She had become the background music of his life, always playing, rarely heard. And outside the home, society mirrored the same erasure. Older women became punchlines, afterthoughts, shadows. Ellen had carried everyone's burdens for years. But who carried her when her spirit began to sag? Who asked if she was okay? Who remembered who she used to be? Then one morning, a cold cup of coffee and a silent breakfast table, a husband staring at the paper like it held more meaning than her presence, Ellen blinked. And in that ordinary moment, she realized something that would change everything, not just about her marriage, but about herself. 3. When needs become secrets. She never stopped wanting to feel beautiful. She just stopped saying it aloud. There was a time when Ellen danced barefoot in the kitchen when his gaze made her feel radiant, magnetic, seen. But over time, the compliments faded. The spark dimmed. And so did her voice. She stopped buying silk nightgowns. She chose comfort over allure, silence over vulnerability. Not because she no longer cared, but because somewhere along the way she believed he didn't. Women of Ellen's generation were taught, don't ask too much, don't be too needy, keep the family intact. So she held her needs close like secrets. To feel touched, to be told she was beautiful, to be wanted, not just appreciated. She told herself it was fine, but her heart knew better. Because when your needs live too long in the dark, they don't disappear. They turned to sorrow, then to shame, and the deepest regret wasn't just that she didn't receive those things, it was that she never felt safe enough to ask. She had been the emotional glue for everyone else, but when her own soul cracked, there was no one to hold it. Then, after, she tried one brave thing, one truth spoken softly, that most women never dare to do. And what happened next, she never expected. Far from the weight of unshared dreams. Regret isn't just about what happened, it's about what never did. In the back of Ellen's closet was a stack of notebooks not hidden but unopened. Each page held pieces of the life she dreamed of living, a cafe she wanted to open, a solo trip through Italy, poems written in the margins of grocery lists. But year after year the pages yellowed, not from time, from silence. Ellen never blamed her husband for the life she didn't live. He worked hard. He provided. He was kind in the ways he knew how. But the real ache wasn't in what he didn't give it, was in what she stopped believing she could still have. Many women her age carry this weight, the quiet mourning of unlived dreams. I think it's too late to start again, of believing their time has passed. But here's the truth. Dreams don't expire. They wait. One evening, Ellen sat down with shaking hands and wrote a letter not of blame, but of truth. She wrote, "There's more life in me, and I want to share it with you if you'll see me again." She folded it, left it on the arm of his favorite chair, and went to bed not knowing what would happen next. But that letter sparked something neither of them expected, something that would awaken a part of them both that had been asleep for years. Farce, it's not too late to choose yourself together. He held the letter for a long time, Ellen said, and when he looked up, there were tears in his eyes. It wasn't an apology, it wasn't a grand gesture. It was simply the first time he saw her, not as the mother of his children or the keeper of the house, but as the woman he once pursued, and somehow had forgotten to keep pursuing. That night they sat in the living room, no TV, no distractions, just two people learning to speak again. He asked, "What did you always want to do?" She said, "I wanted to write, I wanted to travel, I wanted to feel beautiful without needing a reason." He didn't interrupt. He just listened. And in that listening, something healed. You see, the beauty of regret, when honored, not buried, is that it carries the seed of change. It tells you what still matters, what's still possible, what's still yours to claim. Ellen didn't walk away. She didn't throw decades away. She did something braver. She invited him into the life she still wanted to live, not to fix her, not to rescue her, but to walk beside her. They started with small things, morning walks, cooking new recipes, leaving each other's notes again. The habits of love aren't lost with time. They're just waiting to be chosen again, this time with intention. And what Ellen would tell every woman her age if she had the chance is this: if you've ever felt that quiet ache, that whisper in the dark that says, "This isn't how I imagined it," know this: you are not broken, you're not behind, and you are not alone. You are a mosaic of everything you've lived, the love you gave, the moments you missed, the dreams you folded up and placed quietly in a drawer. But drawers can be opened. Dreams can breathe again. Because here's the truth, you are still here, still becoming, still allowed to want more, not because you're ungrateful, but because your soul is waking up again. Let Ellen's story remind you it's never too late to return to yourself, and to invite your partner to meet you there. Now it's your turn. Like this video if even one part of Ellen's journey echoed something inside you. Comment below. What have you carried in silence? What do you wish you could say, to your partner or to yourself? Your story could be the light another woman is searching for. Your voice might be the permission someone else needs to finally speak. Subscribe if you're ready to start living more honestly, more fully, more freely, starting now. And above all, share this video with someone you love, someone who might need to hear. It's not too late to rewrite the rest of your story. Together.